In modern scholarship, there is no longer one narrative of how Canadians experienced the First World War. But do we see the same change in the way Canadians commemorate the war? Try and think back to where you were and what you were doing on Remembrance Day this year. Did you attend a ceremony? If you did, what did it look like? Who was there? What was discussed? And what wasn't discussed? When I think of Remembrance Day, I picture a somber atmosphere where veterans and cadets march and play the last post. These types of events are disconnected. There isn't an opportunity to critically reflect on what was gained and lost. Is there a way that Canadians can commemorate the war in a way that is more engaging? Take Hamilton, for example. 11,000 Hamiltonians served in the First World War. Hamilton has a military museum, which includes an exhibit of life in the trenches. There are also countless war memorials across the city. As a larger and older city, Hamilton has had the resources to remember the war in a very physical way. But considering that Hamilton is filled with newcomers, how meaningful are these memorials? On November 9th, 2018, I had the opportunity to attend the event Cheers to Victory at Dundurn Castle. The event was described as a celebration of the end of the Great War, a night that would incorporate a musical performance of songs sung in the trenches and a screening of the 1969 satirical film, Oh, What a Lovely War. My goal was to get an inside look at this unique commemoration event and to see if it shared similarities and differences with traditional Remembrance Day ceremonies. The musical portion of the night turned out to be really thought-provoking. It was fantastic to see the nursing sisters represented as they contributed so much and died overseas, but aren't commemorated in the same way that soldiers are at traditional Remembrance Day events. When I spoke with the woman playing the sisters afterwards, they told me, "Of course we'd have the nursing sisters. We're a team of female historians." I couldn't help but wonder if the same event was organized under different circumstances, if they would have been included to the same extent. Some of the songs we sang were hilarious. For example, officers tried to ban the song, If You're Looking for the Sergeant. It mocked the stupidity and poor planning of the politicians and higher officers. Have a listen for yourself. Because of the boredom of trench life, soldiers had a lot of time to fill, music being one of their main hobbies. Other songs were very depressing. Misery, mud, boredom, loneliness, and fear filled the lyrics. When This Bloody War is Over, sung to the tune of What a Friend We Have in Jesus, is a prime example of this song. Songs like this help shine light on the grief and loss felt by the soldiers. The songs also help give a sense of what it was like on the home front. Women working to provide for the men they reluctantly sent over, and children longing for their fathers to come home. It wasn't just the soldiers that experienced the grief and fear of the war. Those contributing on the home front did too. In 2018, it is difficult to understand what it would have been like, but hearing everyone sing along facilitated a sense of solidarity. This is the difference between remembrance and commemoration. The attendees were also given access to the museum exhibit. At the entrance to the exhibit, there is a wall-sized map of Hamilton and all of the places Hamiltonians were deployed. Filled with the faces and letters of Hamilton service people, you saw the same recruitment posters, the attestation papers, and dugouts. A fascinating aspect of this exhibit was this recruitment poster. If you're a Canadian football fan, you're probably familiar with the Hamilton Ticats. Hamiltonians that enlisted would have been able to see themselves as a fierce tiger fighting against the German Huns. Locality played a role in Hamilton's recruitment, and this can be seen through the efforts of the artists to include their local football team. Although it is a British film, Oh, What a Lovely War was the perfect way to end this event. The film satirizes the political figures and generals involved in the war. One scene stood out in particular. The British soldiers are going off to war, and they sing and dance on a carousel. At the end, when they get off the carousel, they are merged onto the front. Showing the reality of war in this way, while balancing it with humor, might have been a way for those in the 1960s to cope with the grief and loss. And it is also a way for the modern viewer to understand the excitement of going off to war before the reality of trench life was experienced. Perhaps because Hamilton has such a rich and well-preserved history, the war is commemorated in such a multifaceted way. If you are not from Hamilton, the next time you visit your hometown, look around. What does commemoration of the war look like? And do you see it changing?